5 championships, but just they have humility in the face of such incredible success, the way that they've handled themselves and the success they've had there. So, we're going against a team that's really extremely well coached, and it's got some really, really good players, and it's got a system and a style that's proven successful for a long period of time.
Coach Donovan now talks about his respect for Greg Popovich.
I think the one thing I really respect about Pop is he's a down-to-earth. He's a good person. Obviously, he's a great basketball coach, but he's a good person. He's down-to-earth. He's very, very approachable.
Head coach Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors, their series starts tomorrow against the Portland Trailblazers without Steph Curry. And here's the coach talking about how it's not just Steph Curry on this team.
Every guy who suited up during this series, all 14 of them, contributed at some point because they're all going to need to as we go. And every night's a little different. So they all stay ready and they all stay positive.
Luke Walton named the new coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Press conference to come in the next day or two. A multi-year deal, probably for a great deal of money as well. Let's get to the baseball scoreboard here. It's the A's in a final now, shutting out the Astros 2-0. Mets 6-5 over the Giants in the bottom of the 8th. It's the Tigers over the Twins 4-1. Nationals beat the Cardinals 6-1. Braves and the Cubs postponed by rain. Bottom of the 3rd inning now. It's the Blue Jays 2 and the Rays nothing. Coming up in about 5 minutes, the White Sox and the Orioles, the Indians, the Phillies, the Reds and the Pirates, the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Marlins against the Brewers. Then an hour from now, Angels, Rangers, Rockies, Diamonds. Dave Smith, this NBC Sports Radio.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Dave Merce. This afternoon, some breaks of sunshine, a bit of a gusty south breeze to 20 or 25 miles per hour. Maybe a stray late-day thunderstorm popping up. Rain chances 20%, 70. For your evening, maybe a stray storm to begin. It'll end breezy 53. Tomorrow could see a late-day thunderstorm in there, 75. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. The stations that leave no listener behind.
This is Clyde the Glide Drexler. Open season is always in season. Right here on your radio.
At KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, join Larry Burnett and the guys as they talk sports. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Join Uncle Buck for My Side of the Song. It's the true story behind some of music's biggest songs. Get the truth about You and Tequila, written by Matracia Berg and Dina Carter.
You and tequila make me crazy.
The truth about the song Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. Dylan might be telling you the truth when he says, I don't know what it means. Angie by the Rolling Stones. Get the truth. It's My Side of the Song with your host, Uncle Buck. And this Saturday night, get the true story on Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven is often rated among the greatest rock songs of all time. My Side of the Song on Here Comes the Night this Saturday night. The true story behind Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven.
KCAA is proud to announce another new service for all North American listeners. Now you can listen to our station on your telephone by calling us at 832-999-1050. Our service is available on any standard telephone, cell phone, or smartphone. Simply call 832-999-1050. That's 832-999-1050. Standard cell phone rates may apply.
Trying to beat that hunger craving? Why not start with a bag of beef jerky from J&P Beef Jerky in Highland to fill that craving? Original homemade beef jerky in flavors of spicy, original, teriyaki, and lemon pepper. Order your jerky today at www.jnpjerky.com. www.jnpjerky.com.
Join me, Stephanie Miller, every weekday for the antidote to cantankerous conservatives. And if they don't like it, too bad. It's on KCAA.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8.
1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
E-Digits. Lock them in for more information, recreation, and guaranteed fun. KCAA.
Welcome to the program. Good of you to drop by and spend a few minutes with us. You know, each day we get 1,440 minutes. If we're lucky, we'll get another 1,440 precious minutes tomorrow. So when you choose to invest even a few minutes with us, well, we just wiggle our gnarly toes in appreciation. Now, if you've heard us before, then you have at least a fair idea of who we are and what the hell we do. If not, you just might be in for a few surprises, because what you'll hear on this program oftentimes is likely nothing you will hear anywhere else. We almost guarantee it. The Paramedic Heretic, that's us. We're a different kind of radio program. We're the healthcare show that's not hosted by a medical cheerleader or a left-wing nutcase. Not even close. My name is Patrick, and I'm your host. And we don't talk insurance. We don't talk vitamins, even though both of those subjects hold serious value. We don't talk torts. We don't talk sports. We don't talk movie stars. We don't talk cars. Not nutrition. Not celebrity mating rituals. Not even food, although maybe we should now and then. I am the Paramedic Heretic. I've recently learned that I am not the only known Paramedic Heretic in captivity. I've received some emails from different people across the country. There are now at least 3 others out there. Hopefully the numbers are growing because more and more EMS folks are listening in and bobbing their medical heads in furious agreement. But I happen to be the only Paramedic Heretic known with a radio show. Go figure. And it gets lonely in our corner of the animal farm. So our purpose is as simple as soup. We want to make more, lots more heretics. Maybe not outright flame-throwing heretics like we are. That might be asking too much. But at the very least, maybe we can succeed in turning you, the inquisitive listener, into a sharper-witted, clearer-sighted, intuitive medical consumer, an astutely observant healthcare skeptic, with one eyebrow cocked a notch higher than the other, anytime you find yourself in the presence of the curious species of extraterrestrials called Doctor. Yeah, we know. They say they've come to Earth to live in peace, but we have ample evidence that many of these ETs are truly nasty life forms. They want your blood, they want your body, they want your money too. No need to tell you this community was visited by Satan himself last December, masquerading under the facade of religious insanity. 2 mental midgets wigged out, shot and killed 14 people right here in this city, injured 22, damaged countless thousands of families, changed lives forever. This happened just down the street from where we sit today. That much you know. Here's what you might not know. Errant healthcare, that is, treatments, procedures done wrong, or those performed unnecessarily, rampant drug prescriptions written for profit, over-treatment done for sheer unadulterated power trips, in other words, healthcare gone off track, will kill and maim as many people as were assaulted in San Bernardino before this program is even over. Think about that. That's right. American medical care kills 400 to 600 people every day. And yet, I don't hear any sirens, no SWAT teams, no blood on the carpet, no headlines, no memorials on the corner, and no famous news people standing in the front of the cameras asking why. Because unless it involves your family, it's no big deal. And the monstrous juggernaut called medicine just keeps rolling right along, crushing thousands of citizens in its path. Oh yeah, it does some good too along the way. Our sole purpose, our only goal in life, is to be your lifeguard and guide you across the shark-infested waters of modern American healthcare. And just like a shark, you can't avoid medicine's nasty teeth if you don't see it coming. Now, how do we save lives on the radio? Well, the truth is, it happens every day. We do it by planting the healthy, cultured, brain-focusing seeds of suspicion into your common-sense mind. We teach you, in what we hope is an entertaining way, where the lab coat boogeymen and boogie women are. And by doing that, we can save more lives than we can ever save in an ambulance. Consider this program, the Paramedic Heretic, the antidote to the often venomous, constant drip-drip of yammering of modern medicine's television braggadocio. When you tune into the Paramedic Heretic, when you take advantage of the medical miscreant website, when you read our books, America's Dumbest Doctors, the Paramedic Heretic, then you'll be making the life-changing decision to educate yourself about what's really going on in the often deceptive world called healthcare, and what the consequences can be, and are sometimes, from negative outcomes. The time is now. Today is the day you decide to pull out your logic compass. When you do this, you'll start to see, maybe for the first time, that this nation's version of healthcare is a breeding ground for some of the most jaw-dropping misbehavior on the planet. Now, as far as we know, we are the only show on radio that gives you the details, all about the profane agendas by hundreds of medical enterprises, outrageous behavior by way too many medical practitioners. We tell you where the spooky hospitals are. As a matter of fact, we're going to do that today. Our job is to set off fire alarms on this show. As time goes on, you'll come to realize you can trust what we're saying. If you're involved in any role in the American healthcare system at all, this might be the single most important program you'll ever listen to. If you're a human behavior scientist, if you're interested in the weirdness of medical populations, our books and websites, our radio show is for you. And here's our promise, and we'll say it again. You'll hear no exaggeration on the Paramedic Heretic program. You'll see no exaggeration on the website. You've heard the term fair and balanced when it comes to radio news. Well, this is the program that provides the balance. We believe it's only fair that you get a weekly dose of the other side of the American medical situation. The basis of our argument, we'll say it again. Many of the finest primates in our country can be found wearing lab coats. There are many terrific doctors. But a whole ton of their wackiest Daffy Duck peers graduated from the very same medical schools the others did, and they too can legally call themselves doctor. After 30 years, we can tell you that some of the most Looney Tune characters on this planet scribe MD after their names, and we think you have a right to know a little bit about who the hell they are. So fasten your seatbelt, listen up. You might want to take notes. As long as you listen in, you may consider yourself a student of the Medical Heretic University. And it's important, because as you're about to find out, in the spooky world of healthcare, the twilight zone of medicine gobbles people up, spits people out, ships people off to funeral homes in plastic bags, mostly nicely people, every day of the week, of the month, of the year. You know how many people died from the big bad measles outbreak last year? You know, the one they told us about. Measles outbreak started at Disneyland. ABC News was yammering about it. CNN, Fox, CBS, everybody was yammering about it for months. You know how many people died? 1. In the meantime, do you have any idea how many people died from big bad Transformer soda machines falling over? 8. Do you know how many people died from the measles vaccine? 102. What we do here is shine our little flashlight into the darkest corners of the spook house. We deliberately embarrass these people because they need to be embarrassed. The sad reality is, for too many doctors, hospitals, insurance carriers, you are no more than a walking, talking, dim-witted ATM machine. You are a cash producer that keeps on giving as long as you believe you're not quite healthy. Now, there is no reason for you to take our word for this. Don't do it. Look it up yourself. Type in whatever magic words you want. Try dangerous medicine, for example. Watch what pops up. The undeniable fact is you are 2,000 times more likely to be killed by medicine gone wrong than by some urban gorilla with a gun. Maybe you're getting a feel for who we are now, what we do. Good. You're evolving into a healthy skeptic. Your lifespan will thank you later. Ponder these opening thoughts. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll delve into some cases that should have made a bigger splash in the news, but they didn't. This is the medical stuff you really want to know about. In the meantime, you're listening to the Inland Empire's Kcaa Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Stay close. We're just starting to get irritated.
What have I learned so far? Well, I've learned there's no one right path for everyone. I've learned that without my high school diploma, I could only do so much. My options were limited, very limited. I found a free personalized learning program with Learn for Life that has a flexible schedule so I can keep my job while earning my high school diploma. I found a new career with training opportunities that would jumpstart my future. What have I learned so far? I've learned that I could change my life.
Are you 14 to 19 years old and looking for a free high school diploma program with flexible meeting times? This program allows you to keep your job or important family responsibilities while earning your high school diploma. If you've fallen behind on credits or dropped out of school completely, get back on track with free tutoring, a caring faculty, and one-on-one attention. For more information on how to reach your graduation goal, visit learnforlife.org. That's LEARN, the number 4, LIFE.org. Or enroll today by calling 877-360-LEARN. That's 877-360-LEARN.
Are you tired? Are you tired of being tired? Do you hate your job? Do you feel like you're on a hamster wheel and want to jump off into balanced living? Then tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m. for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. It's a show about hope and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So there's no CNN, constantly negative news, no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk. Instead, you will hear callers ask Dr. Marissa, also known as the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, for advice about love, hate, money, jobs, sex, and what to do next. So join me every Thursday at 7 for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa on Kcaa AM 1050 NBC News Radio. This is Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah, signing off until then. Peace in and peace out.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Bad boys, you can't beat it. Welcome back. It is 18 minutes after the hour. You're listening to segment 2 of the Paramedic Heretic. Let's take a look at what's happening in the wickedly wild, weirdly wacky world of medicine, shall we? Hey, ponder this for a minute. This is a quote. Patients are 50% more likely to die avoidable deaths in hospitals that have low safety scores. Who said that? Well, there's a group called the Leapfrog Group. They are a health safety organization. Their research says recently that 200,000 people die avoidable deaths each year in hospitals. The Leapfrog Group's Spring 2016 Hospital Safety Score Update is just out. We'll be happy to do the math for you. 200,000 people, that's just about 3,600 dead folks a week. Now, according to the Leapfrog Group, hospitals could save at least 33,000 lives a year if they followed standard patient safety procedures of the best hospitals. In all, they say, last year, 206,021 people died avoidable deaths in the U.S. in poor-scoring hospitals. The Leapfrog Group's Spring Safety Score Update assigns letter grades, just like high school, A, B, C, D, and F, to more than 2,500 of American hospitals. They base their scores on medical errors, accidents, injuries, and infections. In a companion research, Johns Hopkins Armstrong Institute for Patient Safety determined that there is a 9% higher risk of avoidable death in hospitals that score a B than those hospitals that scored an A. There's a 35% higher risk if your hospital scored a C, and 50% higher if your hospital gets a D or an F. Here's some of the highlights of the report. Since 2013, they say 153 hospitals have received straight A's. That would be 3 years in a row. Vermont has the highest proportion of A-listed hospitals. Interestingly, none of the 16 hospitals in Washington, D.C., you know, the nation's capital where the president lives, all those Congress people, not one of their hospitals gets an A. Arkansas and Wyoming also don't have any A-listed hospitals. The April survey also includes patient experience for the first time, including results of patient surveys about several areas. It also includes scores on hard-to-control hospital-acquired infections. So of the hospitals they tabulated, 773 hospitals in America got an A. 724 got a B. 866 got a C. 133 hospitals got a D. And 34 hospitals got an F. Nearly 1,500 hospitals got an A or a B, but more than 1,000 got a C or a D or an F. Maine, the state, had the highest percentage of hospitals scoring an A, 69% of their hospitals. The announcement highlighted improvement at Beckley ARH Hospital in West Virginia, which was a D the previous year, and they managed to turn things around, and they got an A this past year. Last spring, the scores showed that urban hospitals, in other words, those hospitals that are in cities, seem to perform better than those that are in country hospitals. But almost all hospitals continue to struggle to control hospital-acquired infections. The Leapfrog Group also makes available a calculator for hidden hospital surcharges that employers and other health insurance purchasers pay because of hospital mistakes. What we did, we thought it'd be interesting to take a peek at some of the hospitals around us. Loma Linda University Hospital, they scored a C. Their low scores were because high infection rates, blood infections in the intensive care unit, and lots of infections after bowel surgery. Now, we find that a shame because Loma Linda is not only a medical school, it is also the primary children's hospital in this area. St. Bernardine scored a C also, but St. Bernardine ranks much higher than Loma Linda in intensive care infection rates, and also in some surgical infection rates. Riverside Community scored a C last year. Kaiser Fontana got a B, but they scored very poor in a nasty cootie called C. diff infections, and also in intensive care unit blood infections. Two of the lowest scoring hospitals in the Inland Empire are no surprise to paramedics because we dodge these hospitals every chance we get. Parkview and Riverside got a D, mainly because of dangerous bed sores. Corona Regional got a D due to high rates of surgical site infections. The most dangerous hospital in our area, according to this study, is Victor Valley Medical Center. They got a frigging F, for God's sakes. Many, many patient falls, many dangerous bed sores, poor interstaff communications between doctors and nurses. We'd stay out of there. Redlands Community, Kaiser Riverside, they are considered the safest hospitals in the Inland Empire. Very few patient problems, very few patient deaths or serious injuries, excellent staff. Redlands Community and Kaiser Riverside both scored an A. We suggest you take a peek at the website, Hospital Safety Score, one word, hospitalsafetyscore.org. See how your hospital stacks up. You might want to do this before you need them. Also, it's a very easy to read website, and the safety scores are searchable by city and state. So a woman in South Carolina headed to her local emergency room last year. She had a toothache. The ER doctor responded by administering Dilaudid. Dilaudid is a powerful narcotic, usually reserved for hardcore cancer-related pain. The nurse asked the doctor why he was killing a flea with a sledgehammer. She felt like the lady could have got by with aspirins. The doctor said, "Press Ganey. My online rating scores were a little low last month." Press Ganey? This company is not well known at all to the general public, but it has become a hated target of hospital physicians, even more hated than trial lawyers. You mention Press Ganey in a hospital, and you'll probably hear a burst of four-letter words in response. Press Ganey is the nation's leading provider of patient satisfaction surveys. It is the Yelp equivalent for hospitals and doctors. Hospitals bow and pray to Press Ganey. Last November, 2,000 hospital and clinic administrators spent $1,100 each to attend their Posh Client Conference, a closed-to-the-public affair in Washington, D.C. They boasted some pretty impressive speakers. Jeb Bush was there. Astronaut Mark Kelly was there. Press Ganey says it helps hospitals fulfill their obligations. That may sound like a good thing. Why shouldn't you grade the quality of your medical care the way you pass judgments on a hotel like on TripAdvisor? The short answer, the current system might just kill you. Many doctors, in order to get high ratings, overprescribe and overtest to satisfy their patient surveys. They're satisfying patients who probably aren't qualified to judge their care in the first place. What exactly are Press Ganey and its main rival, National Research Group, measuring? Now, customers know what they want, and they know how to grade and review their steak dinner for Yelp at a restaurant. But giving patients exactly what they say they want versus what the doctor believes is right can be bad medicine. 2 years ago, researchers at UC Davis used data from 52,000 adults. They found the most satisfied patients were those who got the most health care. They were more than 12% more likely to be admitted to a hospital. They were also the most likely patients to die. Numerous studies have found, says Dr. Brenda Sirovich of the VA Outcomes in Vermont, almost any unnecessary test has a good chance of finding an abnormality, and testing is a double-edged sword. In the book Overdiagnosed, Dr. Gilbert Welch says, overtesting often leads to the detection of abnormalities that are not destined to ever become a problem unless you live to be 150. The U.S. healthcare system already suffers from a more is always better fallacy. We discussed this ridiculous situation last week as we compared it to the McDonald's Supersize My Order. Physicians have learned from reimbursement systems that they need to give the patient pretty much anything they want in order to score well on the surveys. As hospitals increasingly link doctors' compensation to more and more treatment, physicians are pushed even further down the dangerous path of overtreatment. Nearly 2/3 of all physicians now say their salaries are based on incentive plans that show in part how happy the patients are. By creating a monetary incentive to increase patient satisfaction, the government is not only increasing expenses, but promoting a metric that significantly increases death rates. That from Dr. William P. Sullivan, emergency room doctor in Spring Valley, Illinois. As an emergency professional who has treated more than 20,000 patients myself, I can promise you that I ignored overtreatment almost to the point of criminality that I witnessed by doctors for years. I found it extremely difficult to open my mouth and actually admit that what I was seeing was wrong. If you were the CEO of an insurance organization, how generous would you be toward a profession that performs well over 100,000 unnecessary and occasionally lethal surgical procedures a month? Sadly, we as a society are way past the day when the lay public or law enforcement believe that doctors in the aggregate are ethical enough to police themselves. They're not. Doctors in this country require ethical babysitters, and the National Practitioner Data Bank can give you at least 100,000 reasons why doctors ought not be policing themselves. There were 11,000 physician convictions over the last 10 years. That is not a small matter. And the impact of those arrests has dramatically changed the playing field upon which the doctors of excellence find themselves. There are approximately 1,000 television commercials each day yammering about the miracles of treatments from all kinds of drugs regarding ED, restless leg syndrome. Our suggestion, doctors, stay true to your Hippocratic oath. One sentence is this: primum non nocere. First, do no harm. Loosely translated in English, that means, hey doc, if you're not sure what's the best treatment for your patient, at least don't kill him. Now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll wander further down the tunnel of the Twilight Zone where the common theme is medical madness and pratty doctors not playing well with others. You're listening to us on the Inland Empire's KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Don't leave yet. We're just getting to the Daffy Doctor file.
Did you know that every dollar you put into a piece of real estate makes you money 5 ways?
cash flow, money in your pocket each month. Equity capture, the thousands of dollars you create when you have the right team and buy the right property using the right map. Appreciation, real estate doubles in value about every 10 years. Equity buildup, renters pay down your mortgage each month. And finally, the tax advantage. We pay almost no taxes on our cash flow and capital gains. These are the 5 ways we make money in real estate, which is why real estate accounts for more millionaires in the world today than any other investment vehicle. You should have some real estate in your portfolio. To learn how, attend one of our free workshops. Call 1-866-971-8970 or go to getmymapnow.com and register for the next available workshop. That's 866-971-8970 or getmymapnow.com.
Hey, buddy, I heard the drought's moving in, muscling in on your turf. To make matters worse, the man keeps telling you to limit your spigot. That drought is bad news, no fooling. But me and my boys can help. The Water Boys, on the Water Zone, Thursday nights at 6. We'll help you protect your turf and save water. And hey, don't worry about it. Consider it a gift.
Yeah, Louie, you heard the boss. We gotta listen in at 6 p.m. on Thursday nights.
Okay, Vinny, you got it. The Water Zone, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. I'll tell our lawn it's now protected.
The Water Zone on KCAA 1050 AM.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
It's 33 minutes after the hour, and you're listening to the Paramedic Heretic on KCAA Radio. Here's a curious case, a little more tweaked than some of the others. A federal jury in Kentucky has convicted a doctor, his wife, and their clinic of healthcare fraud, drug dealing, money laundering, all for creating a scam that brought in millions of dollars. The prosecution was able to prove the couple illegally prescribed stunning volumes of prescription pills to people with no medical need. Dr. James Ace Cheney, age 51, was found guilty of conspiracy, drug trafficking, 60 charges of illegal narcotic distribution, money laundering, operating an illegal drug enterprise, 20 charges of money laundering and healthcare fraud conspiracy, and 80 other charges. The doctor's wife, Lisa Cheney, age 50, was the CEO of their clinic, was convicted of most of the same charges. The clinic itself, as a corporation, interestingly enough, the clinic was found guilty of at least 180 counts of identical charges. No word on whether they plan to put the whole building in jail. The jury reported their verdict after a 7-week trial. The court records show Dr. James and Lisa Cheney owned and operated a business called Ace Clinique of Medicine in Hazard, Kentucky, between the years 2006 and 2014. Investigators were able to prove that the criminal physician would routinely pre-sign prescriptions for narcotics, which were later issued by staff when he was not in the building. Often, he was on vacation. The prosecution also determined that Cheney provided narcotic prescriptions to people that he knew were selling the drugs on the streets. Cheney would have his patients provide regular urine screens to test for illegal narcotics. When the results revealed the people were not taking their prescribed drugs or were taking illegal drugs, the doctor would direct his staff to fake the test results with their own urine. We can make this stuff up. And falsely indicate an appropriate result. These fake urine results were then submitted to Medicare and Medicaid and private insurers for payment. From 2009 to 2011, the clinic billed Medicare for more urine tests than any other doctor's office in Kentucky. Having your staff pee on the that's up there. The couple would bill insurance for office visits that never happened. They billed Medicare $9,500,000. They billed Medicaid for more than $6 million. The money was used to buy airplanes, multiple houses, 8 vehicles, several Hummers, vacations. Defendants in this case combined a massive illegal drug distribution scheme with a massive healthcare fraud scheme, says Kerry B. Harvey, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky. The resulting criminal enterprise harmed countless Kentuckians, he said. It is difficult to overestimate the importance of this victory in the effort to rid Eastern Kentucky of drug-dealing conduct. He says the devastation of patients, their lives, to facilitate their lavish lifestyle caused great harm to the people of southeastern Kentucky. The special agent in charge of the Louisville Division of the FBI, Howard S. Marshall. Investigation was conducted by the FBI and Kentucky State Police. The Cheneys are scheduled to be sentenced August 25th. Most serious offenses carry maximum penalties of 20 years in prison. Just for the record, we can promise you that this Daffy Duck Doc will not get anywhere near the maximum sentence, and neither will his wife. A Texas doctor has been convicted in a landmark $375 million fraud case. It is the largest ever home health care fraud case in America. Dallas physician Jack Roy faces decades behind bars and $1 million in fines after a federal jury convicted him of multiple counts of healthcare fraud and conspiracy and lying and obstruction of justice last week, according to the Department of Justice. Roy's conviction, along with 3 home health agency owners, is a culmination of a 6-week trial in which the jury deliberated for less than 2 days before delivering their verdict on the $375 million scam. Roy, age 58, of Rockville, Texas, was convicted on 8 counts of fraud, 1 count of conspiracy, 2 counts of making false statements, 1 count of obstruction of justice. Pretty much his entire staff was also convicted. Cynthia Steiger, age 53, of Dallas, Will James Beasley, age 64, of Dallas, and Charity Alita, who is a nurse, age 35. They were all convicted on various charges. Each conspiracy and fraud count carries a maximum of 10-year sentence and a $250,000 fine. According to the Department of Justice, Roy owned and operated a medical concern called Metastat Group Associates, and they would provide home health certifications and perform home health visits. Alita and the other nurses would create fake medical charts that showed the patients as qualified for home health. In other words, they were not well enough to leave the house and go to doctor's offices, so the medical staff would go out to the homes. Roy would have his staff certify the unnecessary and falsified documents to Medicare and Medicaid, and as a doctor he would review the treatment plans. This process was repeated thousands of times. They say the doctor had an entire office of staff of people dedicated to falsely putting his signatures on the charts. Authorities described the fraud as massive. They say they processed and approved at least 11,000 fake patient charts. Roy and his co-conspirators will be sentenced this fall. In Alaska, a doctor has confessed that he sexually assaulted girls for years, and then he thought about hiring a hitman to kill them. Yeah. Dr. Clifford R. Merchant of Anchorage confessed to 3 charges on Friday, April 8, stemming from his abuse of 4 young girls, which went on for years. Merchant, age 69, is a former emergency room doctor, pleaded guilty last month to significantly reduced charges stemming from the pattern of sexual assaults. The state, in turn, dismissed 31 felonies, dropped the charges. The charges he will be sentenced on include consolidated counts of first-degree sexual abuse of minors, child pornography possession, and a single charge of violating the conditions of his release. Merchant pleaded guilty to the charges. Anchorage Superior Court Judge Jack Smith set the sentencing for this coming August, ordered Merchant's previously posted $75,000 bond to go to the victims, and he went back to jail. He was also ordered to pay $25,000 to each of his 4 victims, and they may still sue him in civil court. Merchant was a long-time MD in Anchorage. He had worked at the Providence, Alaska Medical Center's emergency department. The hospital said it suspended his privileges when they learned of his crimes. Alaska State Police learned of the abuse in July 2014 when a 12-year-old girl reported that she'd been touched inappropriately by the doctor. Investigators discovered a years-long pattern of abuse of girls who were not yet teenagers. Most of the crimes were committed at the doctor's home and at his cabin, and he was arrested last October. Court records indicate Merchant faces life in prison for the 3 charges. The doctor could get 99 years for child porn charge and 30 years on a sex abuse charge. Isn't it interesting that the child porn charge is considered more serious than the sex abuse? Merchant came to care for the 2 young girls he abused while their parents worked through financial and domestic problems. The girls would stay with Merchant for weeks at a time. Prosecution will not charge Merchant for temporarily planning to kill the victims. And the plea deal says the parties have agreed that no additional charges will be brought against the perverted physician. Now time for our final break. When we come back, we'll read you a couple of letters we've gotten from nurses in their challenging world of physician idiots. You're listening to the Paramedic Heretic on the Inland Empire's Kcaa Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Stay close.
Are you particular about the vitamins and supplements you take? Have you found that the big chain stores simply don't have what you need? Then you should know about the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. You'll find rock-bottom prices on gourmet, top-quality vitamins and mineral supplements at the Vitamin Center. Get 30% off on all supplements and homeopathic products. All, not just selected merchandise. In addition, you'll find 30% off on all cosmetics, soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, makeup, hair coloring, and lip gloss. And all tea products are discounted 20%. Why go anywhere else? See for yourself at the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills, or check out the savings and place your order online. VitaminCenterAgoraHills.com. Start saving by getting what you need from the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. And tell a friend that the Vitamin Center ships nationwide. Call 818-707-0005. That's 818-707-0005. The Vitamin Center of Agora Hills.
Who needs friends or Facebook when you have KCAA's Rant Line? You can get it all out at 909-353-1050 with no interruptions. Do you want to tell us how much you're learning from Dave Ramsey?
Keep your expenses down when you're a student.
Maybe you stink. You can't take a shower at your place and you really need to.
Work it down there at the largest online retailer in the United States, and they have him loading them trucks. I sure need a shower.
Perhaps you're having money issues.
Motel 6, the Jacker rates up. It used to be like $42. Now they're up to $59. Got about $4,000 in the bank, but working part-time, I don't want to whittle into that. Might need a letter.
Whatever you need to get off your chest, we are here for you. Give us a call on the Rant Line at 909-353-1050 and rant. We'll listen, we won't interrupt, and we may even play your rant on this station that leaves no listener behind. KCAA 1050 AM.
Listen to KCAA Loma Linda for less confrontation and more information.
I saw you there, just standing there,
Welcome back. It is 46 minutes after the hour, and you're listening to the final segment of the Paramedic Heretic on Kcaa Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. On this program, we leave no patient behind, or even the medically curious. All you have to do is tune in. We'll keep you up to date. After all, you don't have time to research medical madness. We do the research for you. We come in here on the weekend, we report it to you. You know the best part? It's all true. Like this one. According to police, Baltimore MD was filming women during vaginal exams, and a world-renowned hospital now pays up. Maryland state investigators announced this month that the files of Dr. Nikita Levy reveal he had accumulated at least 1,200 secret photos and videos of his nude female patients. Levy, age 54, committed suicide 18 months ago when he learned that he was being investigated. He was a gynecologist for Johns Hopkins Community Medicine, Baltimore, generally considered one of the finest hospitals in the country. According to Maryland state prosecutors, Levy filmed his patients by using tiny secret cameras that were hidden inside of pens, writing pens, during exams and procedures. They now know that his scheme went on for 10 years. A spokesman for the State Attorney General's office reports that although Johns Hopkins has records of thousands of patients treated by Levy, the number of victims is unknown. You see, he wasn't filming their faces. For more than a year, investigators remained silent about the details and the volume of Levy's secret activities. Detectives would say only that he was the only suspect, and they were charging no one else. Johns Hopkins spokeswoman Kim Hoppe told reporters that because the case was ongoing, her ability to discuss it was limited. She did say, "We at Johns Hopkins are all saddened that a member of our ranks would violate patient-doctor trust." Johns Hopkins fired Levy in February 2013 after a woman doctor reported on this suspicious pen that he routinely wore on a chain around his neck. 4 days later, police raided the doctor's home, and it was 10 days later he was found dead. Levy had left a suicide note to his wife apologizing. His body was found suffocated in the woods behind his home in Maryland with a plastic bag over his head. Regretfully, the case of Nikita Levy is but one of many cases in which doctors have been found filming their nude patients. On our Medical Miscreant website, for example, we have dozens of others. Here are two. In August 2011, Delaware pediatrician Earl Bradley was sentenced to 14 life terms for sexually assaulting and filming hundreds of kids. In 2012, St. Francis Hospital in Hartford, Connecticut, paid out $50 million to 150 victims of Dr. George Reardon, who used a medical study as a pretense to take sexually explicit photos of kids. The Levy case was the subject of a class action lawsuit involving thousands of patients who believed they were victims, and Johns Hopkins now is paying out $190 million to 8,000 women for the secretly recorded photos in the exam room by a staff physician. Hospital records reveal that Levy had examined 12,000 women over his 25-year career. Emergency doctor pleads guilty to sex crimes. An emergency doctor who is set to stand trial this month for having sex with an underage girl has pleaded guilty in California's Shasta County Superior Court. Dr. Timothy William Wilkins, age 41, of Reading, confessed to 4 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. Wilkins also pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts, providing lewd material to a minor. Under a plea bargain, he faces 1 year in Shasta County Jail and formal probation for 3 years. Wilkins must also complete a sex offender treatment program. Strangely, though, he does not have to register as a sex offender. The doctor worked at Mayor's Memorial Hospital in Fall River Mills, was arrested after investigation into allegations he was having unlawful sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old girl. He was charged originally with 13 felonies and 4 misdemeanors. According to a Reading police report, 16-year-old girl's mother called police after she found text messages and photographs on her daughter's cell phone. In Wilmington, Delaware, a former pediatrician convicted in 2011 of raping more than 100 patients, including babies as young as 3 months old, is filing an appeal because he accuses his lawyers of providing ineffective counsel. The appeal also claims Dr. Earl Bradley, who had hired a high-profile criminal attorney after his arrest, was denied constitutional right to counsel because the police seized his bank assets. He was unable to pay an attorney. His new appeal claims that Bradley's public defenders, Robert Goff and Dean Johnson, should have challenged the Superior Court judge's consideration of evidence, what could have been admitted and what was not. Bradley, now age 60, is serving 14 life sentences plus 164 years for raping children and videotaping his action in the clinic. This doctor is considered the worst child rapist in American history. And finally, on the lighter side, Dr. Uberbrat has been fired by a Florida hospital. You might have heard about this one. A Florida neurological doctor in training whose profanity-laced rant at a Uber driver became a worldwide internet screed for decency has been shoved out the back door of her hospital 3 months after the incident. According to Jackson Health System in Miami, fourth-year medical resident Anjali Ramkasoon has been terminated. The video, which can be seen posted on YouTube, it was shot in Miami's Bricknell nightclub neighborhood, shows the evidently drunken, short shorts-clad doctor ordering the Uber driver to ignore his customer and take her home instead. Video can easily be seen on the website Medical Miscreants homepage if you're interested. On the video, Ramkasoon can be seen slapping the Uber driver in the face and screaming profanities at him. In his defense, the driver shoves the out-of-control doctor to the ground, after which she is seen kicking him in the groin. Then she climbed in the front seat of his car and ordering him to get the F in the car. After commandeering the Uber car, this lab coat nut inanely starts tossing the driver's belongings out into the street, including his driving and passenger log papers. She smashed his iPhone on the pavement, and she yelled that the police won't believe his story about the physical attack because she is, quote, only 5 feet tall. When Miami police arrived, Ramkasoon, age 30, began crying, begging them not to arrest her when she realized she could lose her medical license. Unfortunately, the driver refused to press charges, and this wayward doctor was detained but was not arrested. Jackson Health, which fired this self-centered idiot, is to be commended. We say if more hospitals squelch these outsized bullies on the playground physician egos, we would all see considerably less garbage-level behavior. But don't hold your breath. A spokeswoman for Jackson Health System states that any terminated employee has the right to appeal, which in our opinion means that this bratty physician will be rehired and put on probation. You heard it here first. Stay tuned. We thank you for joining us today. We'll be back again next Saturday at 4 for more eye-opening medical revelations that you certainly won't hear anywhere else. If you're interested in the world of lab coat lunacy, and you certainly ought to be, we invite you to visit our website, medicalmiscreants.com, and you can keep contacting us too at patrickparamedic@yahoo.com if you care to opine, or send a story of your own. We'll read your thoughts on the air. This program is based on our books, The Paramedic Heretic and America's Dumbest Doctors, and they can be ordered online via Barnes & Noble and Amazon Books. Inside our books, you'll find thousands of lab coat lunatic cases, at least one of whom may be, who knows, your doctor. If we were you, we'd check and find out. But that's just us. Stay tuned next week. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about some of our experiences when we worked in show business, some of the unique characters we met, including singer Prince, whose real name is Prince Roger Nelson. He died last week. We met him a few times, and he is truly a curious fellow. You've been listening to the Paramedic Heretic, heard on California's Kcaa Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, worldwide on the Kcaa podcast. Until next time, be safe. Keep this in mind. Never, ever allow a lab coat to outrank your common sense. Not everybody with a stethoscope is smarter than a fifth grader. Have a terrific weekend. Bye for now.
This is for all the lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup and ride that highway in the sky. This is for all the single people, thinking that love has left them dry. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup. You never know until you try. Well, I'm on my way. Yes, I'm back to stay. Well, I'm on my way back home. Get it? This is for all the lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup. I'll never take you down or never give you up. You'll never know until you try.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We are San Bernardino Strong.
My name is Jericho Shaw. I'm here with Sean Flynn, running for Congress for CA 31. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you, Jared.
Let's start off with just some basic questions. Where were you born?
I was born in an Air Force base in the Philippines. Clark Air Force Base.
Clark Air Force Base. Was that the one that actually got covered by lava after we left it? Or?
That's right. We returned it to the Philippine people, and then about 18 months later, Mount Pinatubo exploded, which caused a year of great sunsets all over America, but left 15 feet of ash there.
Okay, so a little touch of volcanic history. I guess the real question is, why were you born there?
Well, my dad was an educator. He worked all over the world for the